Yes, this is the shock news that many people try to avoid paying tax. My favourite is one senior Tory party donor spent a night in a private jet flying from Luton Airport out of British airspace to avoid staying in the country for more than 90 days, so thus qualifying as a resident abroad for tax purposes.
In a plane?
In a plane.
Brilliant.
Could he not just get in a hot air balloon and tether that about 3 feet off the ground? Then he's not on the planet, so
You've got to leave the airspace.
Oh, you've got to leave the airspace.
Yeah.
Oh,
so if you went in an air balloon...
just jump up and down.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. What do you think Philip Green's doing?
Yeah, I know what he's doing, but I don't think it's that... Anyway.
Then there was a fight between him and Boris.
In a radio station, in a lift. What did he call him, though? Did he call him a lying wanker?
No, I'm afraid it was the F word.
Lying wanker?
I'm not helping here, am I?
That happens to be one of our finest banks.
You're very close. Boris screamed into Ken's face, "You're a liar." Presumably a phrase Boris picked up from his wife.
Trenton Oldfield swam into the middle of the Thames and stopped the boat race.
The crowd were angry. According to the Mail, they shouted, "Boo!" and "Take him to the tower." And most devastatingly of all, is it David Walliams?
OK, right, this is the Pastygate story. There's David Cameron there.
It's real acting talent, isn't it?
Yeah.
For all those people, because Ed Miliband immediately went with Ed Balls to Greggs.
Yeah.
And they both ate a pie, and the Tory cabinet had to all go to Greggs. What is this?
Have you seen the size of these vol au-vents? They're huge. What is this? Somebody in there? Hello?
No, well, you see, I commute, and I was very keen that the tax on pasties should go up to £1 million. Because the train I get is full of blokes who've had too much to drink, getting a pasty, hoping it's going to soak it all up, and they shove it in their face, and I'm sitting there trying to do the crossword. 20 minutes into the journey, nothing. Sometimes I just fill in anything to make people opposite me think I can do it. Just...
Pasty.
That's quite a sad life you conjure up there, Ian. These pasty-chomping, beer-soaked individuals who you're trying to impress by doing the crossword. There's issues of self-esteem here, I think. Very sad.
Is it in first class, Ian, that people sit opposite you eating pasties?
No, no, it's not first class. No, it's ordinary.
You travel in standard?
Yeah.
Don't you feel threatened?
He's got his own train.
According to the Sunday Times, Peter Cruddis boasted that he'd flattered one donor, Lord Glendenbrook, into making a £1 million donation. How did he do that?
It was a pyjama party.
Yes.
At number 10. 250 gets you sort of dinner, but if you pay more, then you can stay on for the entertainment.
Yeah.
There's like, they get a bit drunk and there's a sort of bottle or whatever, and they say, oh, let's play Twister, and they go, oh, I forgot my trousers. It was one of those... It was one of those nights. I go, oh, it's a bit late, why don't you stay? Well, I haven't got any pyjamas, it doesn't matter.
I'll put the central heating on.
When you said pyjama
You wake
party...
up in the morning just feeling so sort of... Oh, sorry.
When you said pyjama party, I had images of David Cameron and Lord Glendenbrook brushing their teeth together in front of me. I thought it was quite sweet.
Yeah.
It's not, it's bribery. Yes.
Has that been cleared with the lawyer, that last
No,
one?
it will be, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Who's the guy with the... Is he buying things?
He's an online shopper, that's the clue. So he's shopping online, I reckon.
It's like watching Sherlock Holmes at his finest, isn't it? Teasing out the truth from just a slender strand of clue.
They've all avoided paying the full amount, apart from an online shopper named Mr. Chio, who paid a total of 12 million Taiwanese dollars to buy a croissant over the internet. It translates as £250,000.
Oh, dinner with David Cameron.
I mean, it wasn't a Nigerian writing to him saying, would you like one of our fine croissants?
You have inherited a croissant.
Just pay us £250,000 and you can have this Nigerian croissant. Wow! God, I'd like that.
And he ended up paying £250,000.
No, he couldn't have ended up paying. He couldn't have paid £250,000. He couldn't have done.
He did.
But where would he get £250,000 from?
Well, he's obviously a very rich man.
How can anybody that stupid, unless he's inherited? Oh, I've got £250,000. Go on, half hungry. Let's have a look. That may, I'll have one of them.
The fact is, he never received his croissant.
Oh, he just gets worse and worse.
Fortunately, the flurry of revelations about the scandalous behaviour at News International has died down now, hasn't it, Ian?
No.
Oh.
There have been some people say they've been hacked in America, which means the whole thing will start up again. And the Americans are very, very cross about that sort of thing.
Well, there's a whole file leaked on the internet, wasn't there, this week,
Yeah.
that absolutely nobody will talk about.
What's it about?
I can't talk about it.
Can you not?
No, I could.
Could you sort of explain some elements of the story in some sort of charade form?
It's just the same old. It's people doing things that they're not meant to do and hassling celebrities.
I see.
It'll come out.
OK.
It'll come out at some point.
What Abu Qatada's done wrong is he's not got the right sort of PR behind him. If you could make him seem a bit more lovable, people might not be quite so keen. So I think get the Cockneys to like him first. Abu Qatada. Like this.
I feel sorry for I'd like to have my own theme tune as well, because I think we should all have one.
What would yours be?
I'd like to have the sound of broken glass followed by a high-pitched female voice saying, "Leave it, Dave, he's not worth it."
In other terrorism news, I'm
Yes.
sorry, we have to plough this furrow a little further, not for long.
I'm all for it.
We'll have a big knob on in a minute.
What's that?
Paul, I don't know. I just said knob to lighten the atmosphere. I know.
Oh, I see.
It
Not
normally
on. I
works.
thought like a marathon. I thought it was all one word.
That is the only way I would watch the Olympics,
What?
if there was a knob on.
Oh, I see. How are we getting on with the noise of the broken glass and "Stop it, Dave, he's not worth it" for my noise? How's that coming
Oh, yeah, I
along?
don't know. Is that coming along? No. Have you ever done karaoke?
Have I ever done karaoke? Yeah.
He mimes to the speeches of William Pitt the Younger.
So, Abu Qatada has got his own theme tune.
Yes.
And now we've got lined up for you what you suggested earlier.
Oh, really?
What was yours again?
Well, I'd like to hear the sound of a goat doing Frank Sinatra records. Singing My Way while being pushed through Swansea in a pram. Have you got it? I'd like my theme tune to be a lorry driving through Cornwall. On a Wednesday. Have you got it? This is the Olympic Games. 100 days to go, 98 days to go, 97 days to go, or if you're watching on Dave, 3 years ago. and what an extraordinary games they turned out to be.
I think that's what's under there. They look like rings from here. Are you going to unpixelate it in an act of daring?
I'm not actually allowed to show you, because if I did, I would get sent to Jordan with...
And you're not allowed to take in any drink or product that
That's it.
isn't sponsored.
Yes, yes.
Which is going to be tough for the Queen, isn't it?
Why?
She's a brand.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant
brand.
she liked a McDonald's burger.
Yeah.
Do you know who will be unable to accept his invitation to the opening ceremony?
It's me.
Ah.
I'm going to be washing my hair.
Did that take all day?
I've no... Who can't come?
It's the Who's drummer, Keith Moon.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
His manager was asked by the opening ceremony organisers if he would take part in a reunion with the other members of the band, despite having been dead for 34 years.
Hasn't stopped the Rolling Stones.
We presume it's a mock gun.
Well, it's a bit unclear, because someone in the car worked for the gun manufacturing company called Heckler and Koch.
Heckler and Koch. That sounds like a rather rough vasectomy clinic.
I actually had an experience like that at the Comedy Store.
But yeah, you couldn't go back on for the second half, could you?
No. What could the punishment be if the gun turns out to be real?
7 years.
7 years in prison for all parties involved.
Oh. What, everyone in the car?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, you're looking really chirpy now. Really?
Oh, that would be a first. We'd have to extradite Pippa.
According to scientists at the University of Sussex, it's playing havoc with the bees' waggle runs.
Has gravity suddenly been introduced to the bee community? Yeah. They not noticed it before?
But do you know what a waggle run is, Ian?
No, but I know what gravity is. It's slightly more important, I'd have thought. Has gravity suddenly arrived? I thought we'd had it for centuries.
It's gone up.
What happened with the bloke and the apple?
Isaac Newton?
Yeah.
The bloke with the apple? You went to Oxford and that's it, Isaac Newton, the bloke with the apple?
Yeah. I'm trying to make this programme accessible.
So this is the Austrian village which is holding a vote this week on whether to change its name. And what's the potential problem with a name change?
I don't fucking know.
According to the mayor, Franz Meindl, the only problem is we need all of the residents to agree. After being buried, the hamster dug himself out of his grave. This story has upset a lot of children, but if you're watching, kids, please don't worry, it can't happen with Jimmy Savile.
It's very easy to do. Our children had a guinea pig, which I thought had died. Yeah. It was cold, rigor mortis had set in. I went into the garden, I obviously did a full ceremony.
Was the Archbishop of Canterbury there?
He was. then we lowered the guinea pig in, and it started twitching. It's a miracle, obviously. Took it back, put it on the boiler, warmed him up, it lived another year. I just offer that as proof that this is not a silly story. This is yet another example of how wonderful the world can be.
And as staff at London Zoo unveil their new charity calendar, there are concerns that Miss December may not get past the censors.
Ah, yes, this is our friend Jeremy Hunt. There are some people with puppet heads, James Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch, and there's the kiss from Judas.
Well, the Prime Minister's had a very good track record. Yes. I mean, Andy Coulson was OK.
Yes, he was all right, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Till he wasn't.
Until he wasn't.
Yeah. So what's your reading of the situation, Mr Hislop?
Do you know...
What?
I don't think the government come out very well out of this. It does appear that they were so far up Mr Murdoch's bottom, you couldn't see any of their heads.
And this is the news that the Leveson inquiry has finally perked up at long last, and everyone is...
finally perked up? There have been some notably excellent witness statements.
You turned up there, didn't you? You were in a very happy position of having nothing to hide.
Yeah, but I had no idea it was going to get this good. Murdoch today, selective amnesia, fabulous. You know, the medics must be having a field day. Can you remember anything about phone hacking? No. Can you remember how badly all the politicians have behaved? Yeah, bloody well can.
This is a one-man show in this.
Yeah, it's a one-man show.
So what's emerged about Culture Secretary Jeremy Hunt and a spad called Adam Smith?
It's just that thing of you sack the person below you. So Jeremy Hunt will sack him, Cameron will sack Hunt, and then we'll sack Cameron.
Yeah.
And everyone will be happy.
It's a Channel 5 movie in the making, really, isn't it? Yeah. Rogue Special Advisor.
Yeah.
You could take over the part of Adam Smith in the next... I don't know if you would like it. There's less nudity, I don't know. Maybe there's more,
I do like to be nude, if I can be.
Do you know, I know No, I've watched Homeland. I'll never watch it again with my mother after the first episode. That was
What,
quite
was she in it?
No. It was just quite a shock when I watched it.
Oh, really?
I've seen more of Damien's body than I have of any man in my life, to be honest. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Well done.
I feel very honoured. I love Robert J. QC, but I'm developing a bit of man love for him.
It's the way he goes through the tabs, isn't it? I believe this is bundle 38.
Yes.
Tab 7, brackets, you lying bastard.
Joining us now, Neville Thurlbeck, the former news editor and chief reporter at the News of the World, who's now the PR manager for Talking to Minds, a PTSD charity. Neville Thurlbeck was arrested over allegations of his involvement in phone hacking and is bailed until next month.
Mr. Sinister's in the building.
Ian, you're a Tottenham fan, aren't you?
Very much.
Yeah. So if Chelsea win the Champions League,
the big thing
it's
tonight.
problematic
Not
for you,
tonight.
isn't it?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Not yet.
May the 24th.
No, that'll be terrible for us.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we and I will be gutted if we don't do what you said.
Yeah. Must remind me not to ask you about football again. Nadine, who we just saw, Dorries, describes herself as a council estate scouser, but how did she describe David Cameron and George Osborne?
Two posh boys who wouldn't know the price of milk.
Well, I think it's really pathetic to bring class into it. I mean, take any two posh boys and you'll find, Damien, that pretty much the price of milk we know.
Well, I know I'm arrogant and I don't know the price of milk, but I'm not that posh.
But you're an oldie Tonian, though, aren't you?
Correctamundo.
So, Tony.
I can't discuss the back channel.
No, we've already done that. Funny enough, I wasn't going there.
Can I ask you something, Damien?
Yeah, please.
You had dinner in the White House with David Cameron and Barack Obama.
Yes.
Yet, you are a member of Al-Qaeda.
I found myself in a three-way conversation with Mr. Warren Buffett, who was sitting on my left, and the President of the United States, who was sitting opposite me, about the economy. We talked about it for a bit. You can all sleep easy in your beds tonight. Fixed a few things. David Cameron sat down and just went, yeah, Barack. Now, golf, yeah, I think you'd take me. But tennis, Barack, I think I'd take you. And Obama had been looking down at his food very politely, and he looked up and went, oh, really, David? Well, we have a few hours tomorrow morning if you want to put it to the test. Really steely, looking at him. I was getting on a plane the next morning at 7:30. I was sharing this anecdote with Mr. George Osborne.
The things you see when you haven't got your gun.
He looked at me and he went, guess where they are now? Thrashing it out on the tennis court at 7:30 in the morning. History doesn't relate who won.
So, at an official dinner where you could have had opportunities to talk about important things, you talked about tennis, and then at a Christmas party where they weren't meant to talk about things, they talked about the potential takeover of B-Sky B. Well, thank God he's got things the right way round.
See, the thing is, I was sitting next to somebody called Warren Buffet. Warren Buffet. I'd have to keep making jokes about his name without him realising it. I'd say, is that your finger buffet? You're feeling a bit hot, Buffet, you know. Have you done much travelling, Buffet? You know, I wouldn't stop all night. Yeah. That would be me well happy.
What's Ed Miliband been doing recently?
Trying.
Yeah, this is a really serious story, actually, and I think it should be treated with a great amount of seriousness, that the boy band One Direction, on a visit to, I believe it was Australia, held a koala. That's not the serious part of it. The koala urinated on One Direction.
In One Direction or on One Direction? In all directions on One Direction.
They were then told the, quite frankly, shocking statistic that 80%, that's 80% of koalas have chlamydia. There is therefore a real and present danger that One Direction top boy band will have contracted chlamydia from a koala.
Is the correct answer. The last caption is Nick Brodie, who sent secret signals to Al-Qaeda in Homeland by twitching his fingers. Or so one is led to believe.
Is this a television programme?
Apparently.
What's it shown on?
It's on Channel 4.
Is it?
At 9 o'clock every Sunday night.
Is it?
And I always get ready.
Camilla sent into space to what?
It's something to do with solar storms. Camilla's the name of this small, dodgy-looking probe.
Oh, I thought it was... I think you'll find she's married to the heir with a throne, actually.
I thought it was sent into space to amuse Her Majesty the Queen. I thought it was part of the celebration.
Yeah. Fine. We should all be able to look up at the skies and see her orbiting the Earth. With her arse on fire and she goes through the atmosphere.
Maybe that's the climax of the Olympic opening
exactly.
Camilla just being fired
The Olympic
over a
flame
rocket.
lights this enormous rocket. Ah, Murdoch's been arrested. He's in the slammer. Bye-bye. And they can't bear to look. It's so sad.
Yes, they are very sad.
So that's it. Big news. Murdoch's inside. And he's...
Not strictly true.
No, it isn't, is it? I was suddenly in the world of fantasy.
Yeah, I think there are some important questions to be answered by all of Rupert Murdoch's employees.
I think there are.
Yeah, so here we go. What do you think about it, Jeremy? Well, I think as a Sun journalist, it's just a lot of stuff and nonsense and a storm in a teacup. So there we are, moving on. Paul?
You're not the only Sun journalist. Nancy writes for The Sun.
On the Sunday, a column about fashion. Now, I can't believe myself when I accept it.
Have you got any English guests on this?
Now, don't start. Do you need an interpreter?
Yeah.
OK, I'll translate. Nancy
Right.
was really ashamed of herself for taking money from Murdoch. Is that not it? You know, there's a shortage of court interpreters in this country. I think I might apply.
Why do you think you speak the perfect English?
Do I think I speak perfect English? These things are relative. But I don't speak 5 languages, unlike you, so,
Thank you.
I'm just trying to be helpful.
Stop flirting! You did actually once say, didn't you, that any man who doesn't flirt with you must be gay?
Yes, I said.
Ian, you passed.
Can I just say
Oh, God almighty.
No, you've ruined
Go
the
on,
moment,
go on,
Jen.
go
I was
on.
just going to say I'm a big
Yes.
fan of your fashion column, Nancy.
He's a big fan of your column.
Tom Watson, he says his wife left him because of the phone hacking. Is that
Yeah,
right?
well, everyone's got an excuse for it, haven't they?
Yeah.
I suppose briefly in his favour, when his wife left him, he didn't slap a super injunction on her.
I've got your top tip on that. 1-0. It wasn't a super injunction, just to be specific.
Right.
But there's a top tip I've got for everybody, really, if you're watching. An injunction is a very expensive way of making sure a very boring story reaches the maximum number of people. And the other thing, the only good thing that came out of it was the Telegraph said I'd been having an affair with Jemima Khan. And then Jemima went and tweeted, going, this is disgusting and it's revolting and I've never heard anything. So I was going, oh, steady on, love, a simple denial.
Is it
Is
true
there any other
you
question?
stood as an MP
At the MP, yes.
for Mr Berlusconi's
For Mr.
party?
For Mr. Berlusconi party, because
Yeah,
it was a
good.
little bit different.
Yeah, it's very
Well,
different.
Very
then.
different.
I don't know why I brought it up. Was the selection process very rigorous? I mean, I'm not saying he was personally involved.
It was absolutely not personal.
No, that would be quite
It is like sitting in on a date, this, isn't it? I'm not a host, I'm just a gooseberry.
This is the people who their flats have been turned into a place where you can shoot ground-to-air missiles. It's fantastic. For the Olympic Games, of course. That's not going to make a mess of anybody's ceiling, is it? Look at that. Yes, it's the idea that we thought we were signing up for the Olympic Games, but we're signing up to live in North Korea instead.
According to The Sun, the rockets will be used
According to The Sun? The rockets have big breasts and go, oh, hello, how you doing? going to have to stop quoting this newspaper as a paper of record, Jeremy.
You'll have to stop inviting the columnists on the show. That's me. Two of us this
If
week.
it's got anything to do with me, I'd have Sooty.
It's been sold yesterday, world record, 108 millions.
74 million, but yeah, you're
74,
good
no,
stories.
100. But could you buy Sky? Last night was $108 million. Millions dollars.
Yeah, but here in England...
OK. I reported that the news was in millions dollars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, but it's pounds.
OK, it's pounds. Usually it's pounds, fine. But the
is
news
all right for
was
the
not...
new world.
It's been sold in dollars.
You're quite right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right, but I've translated it so that everybody understands what we're on about.
Yeah, but we know...
Because they wouldn't have a clue about dollars.
No!
I mean, there's only 4 around, and this one's in pastel. It's not the actual picture. I want to be there where someone says, actually, there are 4 of them, and he goes,
Is it true that you received a compliment from Prince Harry about your dancing, or was that just PR bollocks?
Part true, part no.
Did Harry come across a nightclub and say, I really...
Well, didn't say exactly like that, but he did, yes. You know that we were in Jamaica together, too.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
No, I didn't read that story.
He's getting jealous, isn't he? Look. Blair, I'm ready for what?
Come
Nancy.
back. Ooh.
Off with the jacket.
Is that the reaffirmation of marriage vows?
It is.
Who was the bride?
Nick.
Oh. Well, we know what happens to the bride on a wedding night, don't we?
So here's Boris celebrating his victory. Every inch the statesman. There he is. What is actually wrong with Boris's shorts there?
He's actually put them on the wrong way round.
Do you think they were on that way round when he left the house? Ed Miliband was also in that part of the country. He did make a reference to the popular show The Only Way is Essex.
Towie.
What he said. Well done, yeah,
Thank
Towie.
you.
We do know that the previous underpants bomb was real. What happened to that? And why are they so dangerous, these pants bombs?
Well, it's a pair of... Why is a pair of pants with a bomb in it so dangerous? Well, if they're too tight, can cut out your blood supply.
Yeah. Nancy Dell'Olio has been talking to the London Evening Standard's diarist this week, talking about her appearance on last week's show. The diarist writes, Nancy tells me each of the men asked her out to dinner afterwards, but sadly she had another engagement.
Well, I'd like to warn Nancy that I've got a super injunction out.
Kazakhstan already has its own national anthem, of course. What happened when it was played at the opening of a skiing competition in the north of the country?
It was the wrong one. They played the national anthem from Borat.
Oh, no. This is yet another Kazakh mix-up. Enjoy it. Look at this. This is the news that songwriters are being invited to create a national anthem for cheddar cheese. Whose idea was this?
Was it somebody at the Cheese Council?
The BCB.
The BCB?
The British Cheese Board.
Oh, the British Cheese
It's true. Seriously, the British Cheese Board. No! The BCB want songwriters to come up with original lyrics about cheddar to the tune of what?
God Save the Queen.
Exactly. And Land of Hope and Glory and Jerusalem. These kinds of tunes. Anyone want to submit an entry now?
I'd like to have some notice on this. Was it like the bee cheese or something like that?
No. It is the continuing saga of the Leveson inquiry.
He's not looking very happy, is he?
Not there, no.
No, I suppose being the only Prime Minister who's had his Director of Communications and best friend arrested by the police must be a bit depressing.
And actually, I think at the end of the day, it's been a bit of a damp squid. Everyone's been very disappointed.
Yeah, we're waiting for tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
Because then we get the text that Dave sent to Rebecca. How many kisses on the end, do you think? Love you. Lol.
Anything else?
It's all going to be there.
God save our favourite cheese. We get down on our knees. God save our cheese. We love you forever, 'cause you're a piece of cheddar. Where do I send the invoice? Just shows you how much I've been paying attention to the last...
And did those feet in ancient times smell slightly of the product we're trying to sell?
No, that's the B-side.
Which is, in fact, the perfect excuse for us to play this old clip of a man who claims he can jump on an egg without breaking it.
We bring you the unique Mr. Tony McCabe, a man who claims he can jump on hens' eggs and human noses without breaking them.
Skim them, then.
This is where the thick legs come in.
Yeah. You're too high. Up with it. Felt it click. Oh, there we are.
That's it, is it?
Oh, yeah, I felt it click, yeah.
Oh, that is the jumping on the eggs.
Oh, yes, it's definitely been jumped on that egg.
While you were putting man on the moon, that's what we were doing. And there he is at the end of a successful day, not having no idea which way to go.
It's not a great bit of footage for your first day, is it? When your presidential campaign was, I won't be pushed around by the Germans. Big triumph for the left, though, Ken, wasn't it?
It seems like the left's winning everywhere, except London. Why is it whenever I lose an election, they put me on your team? Every other time, I'm on Paul's.
Because they want you to feel like a winner.
I don't think we won last time.
Shall I get on with it?
Yeah.
Paul,
Yes.
could you give me an hand here, mate?
Yeah.
You just read out the names when they come up. Don't get me wrong, I could do it myself. I just
Okay.
can't be arsed.
Right,
Get
okay.
on with this.
Yes.
So, the young charismatic leader of the far-left Syriza party.
Alexis Tsipras.
More commonly known as...
Sexy Alexi.
But I'll be the judge of that. Oh, yes, he's all right, actually.
Yeah. He looks a bit like Ed Miliband to me.
Oh, does...
Are you a man obsessed?
No, this is Ken's attempt to find some work. And then we go bankrupt, because everyone's exposed to Greece, to this debt. So even Ken can't be cheery about that, can you?
No, I predicted this.
12
12 years ago in Socialist Economic Bulletin.
Oh,
you
my
remember reading that?
subscription must have lapsed.
Why has the village of Pioth made the financial news?
Is this the village that's in so much debt it's going to take 1,400 years to pay it off?
That its run-up debts that, according to the Daily Telegraph, will take 7,058 years to repay.
See, they didn't follow my advice.
Well, did you send a copy of the bulletin to this village?
You shouldn't borrow money. Pay as you go, that's the way.
Like on an oyster?
Yeah. Well, actually, sometimes the oyster takes more than it should, but there we are.
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Boo for Boris, then.
Well, no, I suspect Boris doesn't know about it, because he was on the bloody bike. It's not his fault.
So who did it then, if Boris didn't?
Well, whoever really runs it when he's not there.
Giant lizards from another planet? yes. Did you have to deal with these giant lizards when you were...
No, they're in control of it. Sometimes I'll go in to see Blair and he'd be getting the human skin back on over. It's all true. It's all true. I'm glad to hear it. I only met her once. We're at this... It was after some film awards, and she largely ignored me. Then 2 days later, I get an email from her saying, we have identified your unknown love child and are going to name him. Would you like to comment? And I ignored it and they didn't dare run it.
Oh, can we have the name now, then?
It all came out 5 years ago.
Oh.
You missed it.
Was it in the Socialist Economic Bulletin?
sales might have gone up.
It's a good place to bury bad news.
It was all about bad news.
What did she reveal about her textual relationship with David Cameron?
So he was texting her all day, and occasionally he wrote lol, and he didn't know what it meant. He said it meant lots of love, which somehow is more appropriate to a senior executive who's bidding for a media contract. Whereas the rest of us think it means laugh out loud, which we're doing now.
Yes, the Express printed some examples of how Cameron might misunderstand other text speak. For instance, IMHO. So we all know what that means, don't we?
I'm homosexual. And I also don't know the answer.
This is in my humble opinion.
That's it, yeah. Or as the Express suggested, for Cameron, is my horse outside. And here's another one. What's WTF?
What the...
As the Express suggested, where's the fag?
Where's the fag?
As in Eton slave boys.
Oh, you don't say where's the fag, you say fag up!
You didn't have a
They
fag.
run up the stairs, produce coffee. It's a perfectly workable system.
See, I always use this one, IAHAF.
I am having a fag.
I am having a fag, yes. Very topical. 1993, I said that.
I thought it meant I'm having some physical activity. Yeah.
I'm having a... Oh, I see.
Under what circumstances would you text that to a third
They announced I'd lost on Friday evening. The first email I get was, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. I thought, oh, God, no, you know you're doomed, it's all over. Something more uplifting. How about...
Like this?
Yeah. This is always good fun.
Yeah, then this could be a launch platform. We had some bloke on, and he became Mayor of London.
I've never really forgiven you for that.
He actually said that the Labour Party in his day viewed their dealings with Murdoch with some distaste. And he was allowed to get away with saying that. And you're thinking, was that the Labour Party that you were working for Tony Blair when he became the godparent of Rupert's child and appeared in robes of shining white by the banks of the Jordan in order to suck up to Mr Murdoch? Was that the same Labour Party? But no one said that. They just said, thank you, Mr Campbell. Very good of you to turn up and give us your stupid opinions. But, I mean, there was a tragedy at Two Swords, wasn't there, Ken?
What?
They've melted down.
No, not a beloved member of the British Society.
They have.
Who?
The former mayor.
No.
Has been consigned to the pot.
Yeah, they're using him to make Jedward.
Actually, for someone who's 66, that's not bad.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. I bet now if we all took our tops off, I don't look too bad compared to you.
Oh, come on, we're all friends.
Can we then wrestle?
Yeah. Then we'll take our bottoms off. Take our bottoms off.
What's that?
Start shagging each other.
Thank you so much. Good evening to you. And welcome to Have I Got News for You.
Can I just say what a joy and what a surreal experience it is having you on the show?
May I say, this is an out-of-body experience for me, too. Would you like to see the G8 leaders adopting a tough stance?
Yes.
Well,
please.
yes, here they are. There's 10 of them. They can't even count.
I think Medvedev's choice of an icebreaker joke with Angela Merkel is... That looks like a Nazi salute.
The left hand's coming up to do that. Do you remember him, love?
Did anyone notice what the Chelsea captain, John Terry, did after the final whistle?
Yes, he got into his kit, didn't he? And he celebrated with everyone else. He took credit for something he hadn't done.
Yes, and many people thought John Terry was intruding on somebody else's great moment, and some people on the internet did this. You see. And this. And which unsung community hero carried the torch through Taunton?
Oh, I know that.
You know that, in Somerset.
Yes. These torches were meant to be carried by local people to show the community spirit. And in Taunton, it was Will I Am.
Doesn't he come from Taunton?
No. Taunton, Ohio.
I'd love it if he did come from Taunton.
Well, Will I Am from the Black Eyed Peas. Here he is telling the BBC how important an experience it was to him.
So yeah, this is like, it feels like a dream, right? This is something that you always saw on TV growing up.
He said, you know, I grew up watching this as a kid. I never remember ever seeing the torch being run. It wasn't on every day, was it? It wasn't like Star Trek, which you watch, you know, which I watch with my dinner in my lap every evening, but not in my, you know, I had a
You ain't just thrown up.
No,
Quick, chuck something at the screen.
On the floor. This is the Olympic torch, which is boldly going where no Olympic torch has gone before. Namely, yes, I agree with you. Namely, Turo and Il Fracum.
Sounds deeply sexual. Kind of like a cigar advert.
Have you been to Il Fracum?
I have.
The place is laced with prostitution.
That's their new slogan now.
That's right. Come and get laid in Il Fracum. So now we're at round two. Yes. And I'm going to give you musical clues to these stories. And this is from my latest album, which I take it you've heard. Okay, see? I appeal to the masses and not to the intelligentsia. Okay, here we go. And I think it's going to be a long, long time. Till touchdown brings me round again to find that I'm not the man they thought I am at all. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm a rocket man. Anybody? Anybody got an idea?
Yeah.
I'm just overwhelmed by this.
Is everyone experiencing this? It's happening in my head.
Oh, Canada. I stand on guard for the... Oh, Canada! We stand on guard. For... Are you reminded of any Canada-related news stories?
Have there ever been any Canada-related news stories?
There was that old joke about Dean Martin. He saw a sign that said "Drink Canada Dry," so he went there and did. You probably remember that first time.
Yes, I remember. That was page 3 on the joke book.
Yes.
God save the Queen. The fascist regime. They made you a moron. Potential H-bomb. Anybody got any ideas? Other than throwing me out.
Is it The Rite of Spring by Stravinsky?
I think that I preferred that to the original. I like Your Common People.
Oh, well, thank you.
There's a serious
and you
fan
had a good
club
laugh?
up there. Are you from Canada? It's all beginning to make sense.
Ian and Charlie have 4.
No, no.
It's the monitor. It's the other way around. That's the...
Hey,
Ian and Charlie have 6.
Yeah.
It's not important.
And
It's not accurate.
Paul and Andy have 7.
7!
That's right.
On which note, we say thank you to our panelists, Ian Hislop and Charlie Brooker, Paul Morton and Andy Hamilton. What have I done? Go back. Come back.
Should I be
Come back, Paul.
Shall I go?
Paul Merton.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm back!
No. On which note, we say thank you to our panelists, Ian Hillsop and Charlie Brooker. On which note, we say thank you to our panelists, Ian Hislop and Charlie Brooker, and Paul Merton and Andy Hamilton.
This is a week of U-turns by a rotten, useless, out-of-touch government full of idiots. How many U-turns has the government made now?
Well, if you do 2 U-turns, you've ended up back where you started, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, the government essentially has done a U-turn on a number of things which the public don't agree with. You know, and that's not government, as you know, Alistair. A million people march past saying we don't want the war. You don't listen to them. For God's sake!
I think not letting the first 5 minutes without mentioning Iraq, Ian has deducted 1 point.
No, you must say he skillfully introduced the subject, because we were talking about pasties.
Well, you've got a buzzard.
Yeah. It's interesting but wrong.
Not with me.
Buzzards have been attacking and eating pheasants that are specially...
That's just what he said.
No, he didn't.
That's just what he said.
He said he had a buzzard.
Buzzards have been... Have you searched him? Have you patted him down?
Look, can I just say there are 2 versions here, Alistair's and Nick's.
Why don't you just change the information on the card? Sorry. What? He said it. It was him.
He did not say it. You said it.
He said it. He's a highly skilled ventriloquist. It's not fair. You can't put me next to him and expect me not to join in just a little bit.
Can this contraption do minus?
You just smash it and we'll go hell for leather.
OK. Jolly good. Andy Coulson.
He's been arrested for perjury.
Yes.
During a trial where someone else was on trial for perjury.
Yes.
While he was actually working for the Prime Minister, which is pretty shocking. You shocked, Alistair?
I'm shocked.
You. I'm glad you're shocked, because, you know, some of the people that this government have been hanging about with... Rebecca Brooks? Know her at all?
I do.
Were you shocked when she was arrested?
I've been shocked by lots of things, Ian.
He's been charged, though, not just arrested.
Yeah.
He's been charged.
He's been charged.
Which is why Ian's being so careful.
Yeah.
About Andy Coulson, if not about me.
Well, they haven't charged you yet.
Is it hot in here?
And in case anyone thinks I'm being gratuitous, I know that Alistair is going to be reasonable tonight, because he told Leveson, I am robust, but I'm not a bully. So no matter what anyone says, you're going to be really reasonable.
Tonight? No.
That's good, though, to remember. Like, if your kid gets caught, like, kicking a fat kid, just go, no, he's not a bully, just robust. He's robust.
It probably seemed like a good idea when you said yes.
You could, that effectively, having a spider's web with a picture of the Prime Minister in it, and a picture of Jeremy Hunt in it, and a picture of James Murdoch in it, and saying in your piece that, by the way, having the... I rest my case.
Well, I think he is.
I really rest my
I mean, call that a rant. He didn't even headbutt him.
And he didn't threaten to close the BBC down either.
Oh, here we go.
He's got nothing.
Here we go.
Do you want to get a job in a post office?
Mrs Merkel has become the naysayer. She arrived saying no to the creation of common Eurobonds to stabilise the currency. But Frau Merkel knows she is isolated at this summit. But she can go on being isolated as long as the majority of Germans believe she is doing the best she's ever done for their country.
Well, it's the return of Tony Blair.
Much missed.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
No, to be fair, was brilliant at Leveson. He didn't even flinch. He didn't blink at any point. You trained him well. When that guy jumped out and went, "You're a war criminal," he didn't even... He just went, "Yeah, whatever." It's like
he didn't say yeah.
Well, no, in his soul he did.
Oh, I resent that
No,
suggestion he has a soul. God. So there he was again, doing the gestures, saying hey, saying frankly, which means not frankly.
With respect, Ian.
Well, I know you were friends. But the idea that you can say that Osborne's full of shit and then defend Blair is unbelievable.
Sorry. Well, Tony's testimony...
I watched him. God knows why.
You know what? I get the feeling that at any moment you two are going to kiss.
Everything went swimmingly until we noticed that he was wearing the vegan sandals. And my
How dare
advice
you!
is,
How dare you!
any serious protester, leave the vegans at home and wear proper shoes, because as soon as you see the sandals, you think, nutter.
That's a great... That's a great point. That's a great point, worthy of an extra point for Nick. Thank you. Now, a meeting between Hunt and Murdoch was cancelled on legal advice that it would be inappropriate. So what did Hunt do instead?
They had a phone call.
Correct.
Because that's much
Another
more
point.
appropriate.
Yes,
Do I get a point every time I suggest the Tories are nearly as bad as you lot?
And once, I saw some footage of him kicking an orphan.
What has Mugabe just revealed that he has in common with John Major, David Mellor and Suggs from Madness?
A love of two-tone. Two-tone? Form of popular music in the mid to late 80s, Your Honour. One step beyond, I
believe. Why would anybody bother to complain about that, though?
I mean, you can see why, because you don't want little kids sort of copying that. So I think that's a good enough reason.
Well, what's really offensive about that is when they take the chicken out of their mouth, that's still how they talk.
Yeah. They went to one of the worst drama schools in London.
Yeah, it was terrible. The John Merrick Academy of Drama.
That's right, yeah.
And the trouble is that all the students get together and they go, right, be an animal, and they'll go, I am not an animal. And then at the end it just says, KFC, finger licking good.
Yeah, I mean, dodgy ads with 3 letters are very worrying, aren't they?
Yes.
WMD... I mean, people could get the wrong idea. Might think they existed. But those are different letters completely.
I admire your stamina.
They're all herded goats, apart from Cherie Blair, who will do so in the next few weeks. It's a strange thing to do for publicity, I accept. In the old days, you'd just tell the world about what contraceptive equipment... hate that word. It's a strange thing to do for
Campbell stumbles over the word publicity.
A baking website has made all the key players in the Leveson inquiry into cakes on a stick.
Including all the participants?
All the participants, Ian. Would anyone like to see Ian?
What? Well, you never have to work again because you can sue for every single penny they've got.
I must know, I've always wanted to see Ian's head on a stick. The Gherkin is, of course, an iconic landmark in the heart of London's financial district and features heavily in every episode of The Apprentice. And why shouldn't it? After all, it's only 10 miles from the fake boardroom in Willesden where you film it, Nick.
Easy.
Is that true, Nick?
I think it's a silly business making cakes out of all these things. Why would you...
Absolutely. It's dreadful business, yes.
Is it not a real boardroom?
I quite like the Stormtrooper.
Yeah, I so agree, yeah.
They're on your face, just there.
Look, I've got my glasses, but I don't have my missing words cards.
No, the words aren't meant to be in there.
Yeah. Walking in. I'm going in.
Missing words.
There'll be red stickers on them.
Is that them?
Yes.
He's sitting on them.
I've got your wallet down here and all.
And for that heinous act, we're reducing him 5 points. Question. Will spinning give me what?
A wedding.
Answer...
No,
answer no.
What?
That's right, no, it's because the missing words in the question.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Shut
he's
the
I thought you were meant to be, like, all cool under pressure. You've just said, shut the up. I told you I'd get him to snap, didn't I?
What the hell is that?
Carry on, Ian.
Security! That doesn't work, it. I give up! I did it! I did it!
Do you know what
Have
he
you
was playing
finished?
there? The Be Sky Be boat song.
What was the worst party ever? And if you say Labour, I will play my bagpipes again.
No, that would be ridiculous to say Labour. It's New Labour.
Nazi.
Is it, what?
Nazi.
Nazi
was the worst party ever.
Don't go that far.
Sorry, I was answering the question. I was looking at you, but I was answering the question.
Was it,
So the final scores are Ian and Ross 2, Paul and Nick 55.
Very good.
So it's a jubilee, I think. Yes, this is not the hardest question we've ever been asked.
Was anybody there? Did you go along?
I was there.
Were you?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic, actually.
With the greatest respect, Ian, could you see through the crowds?
The BBC got into a lot of trouble with its coverage because what it usually did is underestimate the general public and thought, well, they're stupid, they'll want to see Fern Cotton. And Matt Baker and some people from The One Show. And literally, in the crowd I was with, there were about 10 people more interesting and better informed than everybody on the entire BBC for the entire day.
Let's take a quick look at Sky News. This is how they covered the final stages of the pageant.
1,000 boats have travelled 7.5 miles down the River Thames to mark the Diamond Jubilee.
Meanwhile, over on the BBC, Tess Daly's being knighted by a transvestite.
Hello.
Name?
Tess Daly.
And I believe I'm knighting you for services to working in the rain.
That's right, yes.
Do you know what, Ian? I'm beginning to see your point.
Yeah.
To be fair on the BBC, though, it is endemic across all of television. They just make it as though everyone's so stupid, and they're not making it for themselves. They do it for this sort of imaginary idiot. And it's infuriating, and it's not just BBC, it's not just that programme, it's all of them!
Stephen Fry, he pointed out mistakes such as one presenter calling the Queen Her Royal Highness instead of Her Majesty. He asked, has the BBC presented a more mind-numbingly tedious programme? QI?
QI is a brilliant programme, isn't it? That's one of the few that isn't for morons. It's practically the only one. Like, you can't even risk making jokes about QI because it's practically the last programme where they imagine the viewer might be able to spell.
I've imagined that there was a meeting before the concert where I imagine Gary Barlow was chairing it, where they talked about how they were going to capture the spirit of Britain. And then halfway through, one member of the panel, in my mind, just had a nervous breakdown and went, yeah, and maybe we could have the Jamaican singer Grace Jones hula hooping. What could be more British than that? And I love the idea that the rest of the panel were going, let him have this. Seriously, his wife's left him.
What's been happening in the Eurozone this week?
Well, it's more of the same, isn't it?
If you read the 10 o'clock news,
Yeah,
it'd be so
more of the
short.
same. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, forget Robert Peston, get Paul in.
Nothing much has happened.
Yeah, more of the same. Spain's gone bust. Next.
Yeah.
What was the cock-up in Edinburgh?
They used the word cock about a symbol.
Well, they made
French
a symbol
symbol.
that...
Oh, was this...
Yeah.
Lasagna?
No. But I'm delighted to work out how you're going to join up those two thoughts.
Cock and lasagna?
Yeah.
That's a good night out. Don't broadcast
That's my perfect Friday. Yeah. It is a Ukrainian pig. It's also a psychic pig.
Psychic pig!
And it's named Fun Tik, and it's been unveiled as the successor to Paul the Octopus. Exactly.
Football, my special subject. You should have said.
Can anyone imagine how the pig is going to make its predictions?
Just hold on a second. OK, it's not going to predict the 2012 results.
Well, it is.
It's not.
It might be wrong.
Can
It make a
it is gonna
prediction. It might be a
predict
wrong prediction.
It can't make a prediction. It's a pig. It can stand on a square
pigs are
that a
very
person can say...
Yeah, well, pigs are very intelligent. I'm sure it's not just going to stand on a square. It's about sort of mime, a little bit charade.
According to a Ukrainian news source, ahead of each game, Fun Tik, the psychic Ukrainian pig...
Yeah. It's not psychic.
...is going to be...
You're being very down on this pig.
No, he's going to eat from one of two plates of food, each marked with the national flags of the team playing. He's not going to like the Danish one, is he, when he comes to that? Rio was overlooked in favour of Liverpool's Martin Kelly, who, according to The Sun, has spent more of his career on the bench than on the pitch.
Is that bad? A lot of judges spent quite a lot of time on the bench.
You've spent more time in the dock than at your desk, so
yeah,
that's...
all right.
Yeah, send him down.
This is a psychic pig who's going to...
Not a psychic.
I don't think we can properly judge how psychic is until we see some of its predictions.
We can.
Well, suppose it gets the first 6 matches right. Then what? Where's your no psychic pig stance then? What if he channeled the spirit of Elvis Presley?
But if the pig did correctly predict the future, would you accept it was a psychic pig?
Is it just me? All right, OK, go on then, carry on. The psychic pig.
Thanks. This is a psychic...
I feel awful. We don't know any of these. Oh, this is that brilliant unicycle story, isn't it? It's not even a unicycle. I can't even tell you anything about the story from looking at a picture. Did you really just get the story about that man?
Yeah, it's sort of a good idea.
It's amazing. Looks like Ian's psychic, Victoria.
You know who's going to win the Uruguay?
The Uruguay?
Ian, when you dip your toes into popular culture, you end up talking bollocks every time.
Geoffrey Howe had his trousers stolen on a train. How did the thieves manage to steal his trousers on a train?
Just like the people used to do with that tablecloth trick, wasn't it?
They took them while he was asleep. He wasn't actually wearing them at the time, and luckily the police found them and they returned him before he had to get up and leave the train.
So he was on a train in a sleeper compartment?
Yeah.
He wasn't just sitting?
No.
On a commuter train and someone took his trousers? Good grief! Tickets, please. Oh, my goodness, I've got it trousers.
In a separate but somehow related incident, he lost his pyjamas in Peking.
How did he lose his pyjamas? What, in a card game? I mean, what was going on?
I've got nothing left. You've got your pyjamas. You'll put mine.
And Orville the cat.
Now, I recognise that cat.
Do you?
I saw that story. It's not alive, the cat. It's... I think... I mean, I'm going to sound bizarre if this isn't the story, but the cat got run over and its owner had it stuffed and made into a helicopter. It's hard to tell looking at the picture whether that means he really loved the cat or really hated it.
So sorry, Victoria, you're happy to accept that there's a remote-controlled flying cat? Well, a psychic pig's a bit of a stretch for you, is it?
Here is the test flight.
Oh, no.
That is...
Can you assure us no cats were harmed during the making of this?